Jaya Gopi Jana. No, just follow. Just make it simple. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Raja Jana Dandana Munatira Vanasadi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahansa Paripraj Kacharya Stotra Shri Srimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Adanta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Sridhar Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivas Sadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Sham Kun Radha Kuni Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadip Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Ki Jai Gangamai Ki Jai Jamunamai Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande. Now, what's the story with this poor thing today? Started here and it's down to here. Descending process. Pretty much a useless thing. Another abused microphone stand. What are you doing? Yeah, okay. Just, no. Just take it away. This is useless. Unfortunately. What are you doing? Yeah, just good. Thank you. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhāgavatam, 4th Canto, Chapter 7, Text 16. Maitreyo Vacha Shamapyaivam Sa Midvamsham Brahmana Chanumantritaha Karma Santanayam Asa Sopadhyayartrithik Sopadhyayarthig Adipi Maitreyo Vacha Shamapyaivam samidvamsham Brahmanachanumantritaha Karma Santanayamasa Sopadhyayartik Adibhihi. Maitreya, the sage Maitreya, Uvacha said, Shama, forgiveness, Apya, receiving, Evam, thus, Saha, King Daksha, Nidvamsham, unto Lord Shiva, Brahmana, along with Lord Brahma, Cha, also, Anumantritaha, being permitted, Karma, the sacrifice, Santanayam, Asa, began again, Sa, along with, Upadhyaya, learned sages, Ritvik, the priests, Adipihi, and others. The great sage Maitreya said, thus being pardoned by Lord Shiva, King Daksha, with the permission of Lord Brahma, again began the performance of the yajna, along with the great learned sages, the priests, and others. Vaishnavam yajna santatyai Trikapalam Prijottamaha Purodasam Niravapan Vida Samsarga Shuddhaye Vaishnavam Yagya Santatyai Trikapalam Prijottamaha Purodasam Niravapan Vida Samsarga Shuddhaye Vaishnavam Yagya Santatyai Trikapalam Trijottamaha Purorasham Niravapan Ira Sangsarga Shuddhaye.
Navam yajna santatyai kapalam vijuttamaha rodasam niravapan
Ladies? Vaishnavam meant for Lord Vishnu or his devotees. Yagya, sacrifice. Santatyai, for performances. Vikapalam, three kinds of offerings. Vija Uttama, the best of the Brahmins. Purodasham, the oblation called Purodasha. Niravapan, offered. Vira, Virabhadra, and other followers of Lord Shiva. Samsarga, contamination. Dosha, due to his touching. Shuddhaye, for purification. Thereafter, in order to resume the activities of sacrifice, the Brahmins first arranged to purify the sacrificial arena of the contamination caused by the touch of Virabhadra and the other ghostly followers of Lord Shiva. Then they arranged to offer into the fire the oblations known as Purodasha. Purport. Lord Shiva's followers and devotees, headed by Virabhadra, are known as Viras, and they are ghostly demons. Not only did they pollute the entire sacrificial arena by their very presence, but they disturbed the whole situation by passing stool and urine. Therefore, the infection they had created was to be first purified by the method of offering Purodasha oblations. Vishnu Yagya, or an offering to Lord Vishnu, cannot be performed uncleanly. To offer anything in an unclean state is called a seva parad. The worship of the Vishnu deity in the temple is also Vishnu Yagya. In all Vishnu temples, therefore, the priest who takes care of the Archana Vidhi must be very clean. Everything should be always kept neat and clean, and the foodstuffs should be prepared in a neat and clean manner. All these regulative principles are described in the Nectar of Devotion. There are 32 kinds of offenses in discharging Archana service. It is required, therefore, that one be extremely careful not to be unclean. Generally, whenever any ritualistic ceremony is begun, the holy name of Lord Vishnu is first chanted in order to purify the situation. Whether one is in a pure or impure condition, internally or externally, if one chants or even remembers the holy name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, one immediately becomes purified. The Yagya arena was desecrated by the presence of Lord Shiva's followers, headed by Virabhadra, and therefore the entire arena had to be sanctified. Although Lord Shiva was present, and he is all auspicious, it was still necessary to sanctify the place, because his followers had broken into the arena and committed so many obnoxious acts. That sanctification was possible only by chanting the holy name of Vishnu, Trikapala, which can sanctify the three worlds. In other words, it is admitted herein that the followers of Lord Shiva are generally unclean. They're not even very hygienic. They do not take baths regularly, they wear long hair, and they smoke ganja. Persons of such irregular habits are counted amongst the ghosts. Since they were present in the sacrificial arena, the atmosphere became polluted, and it had to be sanctified by Trikapala oblations, which indicated the invocation of Vishnu's favor. Om Akahana Timirandhasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manopistam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Ayam Rupa Koda Mahyam Tatati Shapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jatapadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Shagrajatam Sahagana Raganatan Vitam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhamritamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Sapta Kamshana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hori Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindho Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Maitreya Uvacha Kshama Payaivam Samibhamsham Brahmanachanu Mantritaha Karma Santanayamasa Sopadhyayartig Adibhi Vaishnavam Yagya Santatyai Trikapalam Trijottamaha Purodasham Nirabhapam Vida Samsarga Shritaye. So, in order to revive the yajna, first they had to take permission of superior authorities. First they were pardoned by Lord Shiva and then received the permission of Lord Brahma, then they began. Not that we just do things. This is the Vedic system. First we take permission from our superiors, then we act. And to revive the sacrifice, first they had to purify everything. It was all grungy. worse than grungy. Grungy is generic, but they, the followers of Lord Shiva had passed urine and stool in the sacrificial area, and everything had been disrupted. So and their very presence was contaminating. So the whole place had to be purified. And of course, water and cow dung and the usual items. But then most important was the holy name of Lord Vishnu, which purifies everything. Apavitra, pavitra, va, sarva, astam, patopi, va, sa, vaya, vyantara. Sri Vishnu, Sri Vishnu. That was the most important thing. And Prabhupada's purport is all on this point, that to perform any yajna or to worship the Vishnu deity requires radical cleanliness. Dirty ways of doing things constitute an offense to the deity. Everything has to be clean. When Prabhupada was teaching us about deity worship, what were the two most important things? Cleanliness and punctuality. The rest was secondary. Most of the rest was don't concoct anything. But the two most important things were cleanliness and punctuality. In our old Brooklyn temple, we had, our cook was a devotee named Bhadradasi. She was Italian, so she was naturally qualified to be a cook. She was a very good cook, actually. And at some point she asked Prabhupada what she should do. And Prabhupada said that the kitchen should be radically clean. He said, by cleaning the kitchen, you'll achieve bhava. Yeah, people think you have to go off to Radhakund and read some esoteric literature to achieve bhava. Prabhupada said, by cleaning the kitchen, you'll attain bhava. Here I know that in the deity room there were dirty places. Hamsarupa just took it on himself to clean things. So many things were dirty. So everything for the service of the deity must be clean. The kitchen should be, Prabhupada said, radically clean. The kitchen should be radically clean. It means we clean, again we clean. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu set the example by cleaning the Gundicha temple. I was at some other temple. Where was it? Maybe it was Tirupati, or maybe it was someplace else. I think it was someplace else. It was like a cleaning day, and all the leading people were there. You could see big people who were people of importance, and the priests and so on. They were all just totally involved in cleaning. Water and rose water and sandalwood and water and more water. And everything was in brooms and just cleaning and cleaning. Because that's the standard. The temple should be so clean, radically clean. Actually, the whole temple should be radically clean, but especially the deity room should be radically clean. Temple room should be radically clean. And everything else should be clean. And the devotees should be clean. That means clean cloth, clean bodies, clean habits. Brahman is, another name of Brahman is Shuchi. Shuchi means clean, pure. So Bhaya Bhyantara Shuchi. A Brahmin should be clean externally and internally. Of course, by chanting the holy name of Vishnu. Of course, by chanting the holy name of Vishnu, it's one way of looking at it is, well, everything becomes clean. Another way is, if you chant the holy name of Vishnu, you'll see what's clean and what's not clean. Those who don't chant the holy name of Vishnu will be in the modes of material nature, and most likely the lower ones. But those who chant the holy name of Vishnu will see, this is dirty. That's dirty. How can I eat here? How can I worship the deity here? How can I? No, it has to be clean. The Western civilization, so-called, promotes or doesn't know what cleanliness is. Wall-to-wall carpets we consider clean. We consider luxurious. From the point of view of like Prabhupada, they're dirty. How do you clean these carpets? They just, soak up all kinds of dust and dirt and cat hairs, because that's part of how people live. They keep dirty creatures in their homes, cats and dogs, and then they live amidst cat hairs and dog hairs. In the early temples, we had some, I remember Boston Temple, Walter Walker, took it out. You can't clean it. This you can clean, wood, tile. Prabhupada sometimes had carpets in his room, but the rule was they had to be covered with sheets. And the sheets had to be washed every day. And because otherwise they can't be cleaned. So the Brahmin's place should be clean. Before eating, he washes his hands. After eating, he washes his hands, his mouth, his feet, the place where he honored prasadam. In the West, we chew on pencils. Well, because we're thinking, chewing on pencils. The mouth is totally dirty. You spit on someone, that's not clean, but you spit on the pencil, and you think it's clean. Sometimes we see someone's giving Bhāgavatam class, and he'll drink the water, some water touching his hands touching the glass to his lips. And he doesn't realize that his mouth is unclean, now the glass is unclean, and now his hands are unclean, because one has touched the other and touched the other. And now he's going to touch Bhāgavatam. No. Prabhupada, you'll read in the books by Harishari Prabhu, how Prabhupada was trying to teach the devotees what cleanliness is. He said it's like cleaning coal to try to teach, but still he tried. Toilet paper means there's no question of cleanliness. Sometimes you go into a house right away, you know, okay, this is not a Brahminical place, because there's no lota and there's toilet paper. There was I read some, I wish I'd saved it, but there was some little snippet written by an Indian lady in the 1800s or something during the British Raj. And she somehow, maybe I think it was Calcutta, and she attended she was present anyway for some meeting of, sophisticated Britishers. And she wrote later that somehow at her sort of astonishment at all of these sophisticated people sitting on their unwashed bottoms, sophisticated men and ladies sitting on their unwashed bottoms. Good toilet paper, this is Western so-called civilization. Water is what's used. Paper. So those who are to be worshipping the deity, those who are initiated as Brahmins, have to be seriously clean. Place has to be clean, their cloth has to be clean, their bead bags have to be clean, their habits have to be clean. Otherwise, how are we going to come to the standard? Vishnu is perfectly pure. He's the presiding deity of goodness. So if we want to worship Vishnu, we should try to be good. Cleanliness is next to godliness. Of course, not just by washing and washing, but one genuinely has to be Krishna conscious. Otherwise, outwardly clean and inwardly filthy, that also doesn't cut it. But if we're outwardly filthy, then you can understand what our inward situation must be. For anyone, we or anyone, the followers of Lord Shiva, you can see smoking ganja and keeping long hair and dirty clothes. And people wear clothes for a week and they think it's fine. People take baths once a week, they think it's fine. These are the ghostly people, the followers of Lord Shiva, and the people in the mode of ignorance. I was at an airport last year. We're all sitting in the waiting area. And there's some man eating a sandwich. So he eats his sandwich and then he looks around a little bit. Then he takes his hand and cleans it by rubbing it against the cuffs of his jeans. Now his hands are clean. People have no idea. So, Bhāgavatam Shuchi, radical cleanliness is the usual standard, ordinary standard for Brahminical life. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Any questions? Oh, yes, there's a hand. Yes, a mic. You can right away tell when an Indian family has been westernized when you see that in the bathroom there's just toilet paper and no water.
Hare Krishna.
You don't
Like
have
is
to inquire
dead.
further immediately. You can understand. Yes.
So when we go on Sankirtan, how much should we touch people?
How much should we touch people on Sankirtan? Enough to get them to take a book.
That could be a lot sometimes.
Give them a hug, whatever it takes. We're not going to be, what's the word, so radically concerned with cleanliness that we can't spread Krishna consciousness. Maybe when we come back, we'll, take bath wearing all our clothes or something, but out there we have a mission to perform. We can't be fussy. As far as possible, we'll try to be clean, but still, we have a mission to perform. No, I came back clean and I didn't distribute any books because I would have had to touch them. No. Something else. We're giving you like 2 microphones, at least one.
Okay. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare
You can
Krishna.
hear me now. So there's some stipulations that vanaprasthas shouldn't shave, take bath, brush their teeth.
Vanaprastha, there's some stipulations in Vanaprasthas.
Shouldn't take bath, shouldn't shave, brush teeth, stuff like
They
that.
do what?
They shouldn't take
Shouldn't-
bath.
Shouldn't take bath? No.
I've
There
read
may be something for those who are doing severe austerities, maybe they won't even pause to take bath and so on. Otherwise, we hear that they'll take bath. We'd have to look at the verses. There are other places where there may be contradictory things, but not that, yes, you accept vanaprastha life and that's your last bath.
Mhm.
And everybody knows when you come in the temple that you're a vanaprastha. No.
And the reason for that was that the vanaprastha has to become detached.
Yeah, but for that, it's not just don't take bath, but go to the forest, live on roots and berries. Don't take bath, let your fingernails grow, let your beard and mustache and temple, your hair grow. Don't worry about any dress and tree bark. So if you're going to do it, do the whole thing. Not just, well, I'm vanaprastha, I don't have to take bath anymore, but wear tree bark and do the whole business. That means radically becoming, what's the word, disinterested, uninterested in the body. We just don't care about it anymore. We're not going to do that. That's not for this age. Vanaprastha should be clean. Vaishnava vanaprasthas can do what they want. Okay? Something else? Yes, which is more important? That's one of those questions, like, should I go on Sankirtan or should I study the books? Prabhupada's consistent answer, you do both. So, which is more important, internal or external, so that I can choose one or the other? No, we should be both, internally and externally pure. Not that because my consciousness is pure, everything else surrounding me can be dirty. No. Everything should be clean. Deity's paraphernalia. You can see when everybody's awake, then the deity's paraphernalia will be shining. Clothes will all be clean and neat and orderly where they're stored. Everything will be brilliant. And people will notice it, even if they don't exactly know what it is, but they'll come to your temple and they'll see everything is brilliant because it's clean. They're unused to it. It's like, what's something about this place? It's clean. I went to one temple in South India. Now, where is the place where Ramanujacharya's body is there? Is it Nalkote or Sri Parambudur? No, that's his deity is there. That's for worship, but his body is in. Is it still? Yes. And what am I thinking of? Nalkote. Who's there? Madhvacharya? Madhvacharya. Is Udupi. Nalkote is Ramanujacharya, yes. And his body is there, as I recall. Anyway, we went there, and I think it was the appearance day or the disappearance day of Ramanujacharya. And the whole system is there that the Brahmins have their dwellings surrounding the temple. And when we came there, we saw that the temple was filthy. Newspapers lying around in the, in the temple, just dirty, I mean, conspicuously dirty. And the Brahmins are sitting on the verandas reading their newspapers. What were they thinking? It's just a sign that there's something is very wrong. Not to criticize this sampradaya or that sampradaya, because an ISKCON temple also could be found lacking. But it was so noticeable on that special day too, and it was just, and everybody's like, no one noticed. They're reading the newspapers. But if you printed in the newspaper that the temple is dirty, then they might have noticed. And then you come to temples of other deities, and it's like, they slaughter animals there. They'll have a guillotine for killing goats and buffaloes. How clean is that? Or they'll have rats and be worshiping rats. This is not the one of goodness. Deep ignorance. Yes.
Maharaj, you mentioned that someone, after they chant, will most likely start to see things as dirty.
They must. They'll see. Because their consciousness changes. Before coming to Krishna consciousness, he was washing his hands by cleaning his hands by wiping his jeans. After coming to Krishna consciousness, his vision changes because he's trained. Brahman is not just a matter of putting a thread on somebody's shoulder and chanting some mantras, but it means that he has to change his consciousness and change his standard of living. Doesn't need, we think that our standard of living is going up because we've got luxuries, including wall-to-wall carpets and all the, Western stuff that can never be cleaned. No. Real luxury is cleanliness. Like, what's the first-class plate for eating from? The materialist will think that it's like fine china. But from the Vedic point of view, china is earth, and earthen plates are used once and thrown out. So like a first-class plate will be banana leaf. Down from that, there might be steel or silver. Steel. And plastic is useless, it can't, below china. There's no way that plastic anything can really be cleaned.
Is it thinking about those, the temple with the monks who were comfortable with the dirtiness?
Yeah.
Is it possible also that to have people chanting, 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 and not be able to see the filth?
Yeah, Prabhupada, the famous example is there that Prabhupada was taking his morning walk in Mayapur, and he walked by some latrines, and immediately it was apparent that they hadn't been cleaned. And Prabhupada was disturbed for two reasons. One is because they weren't clean, but even more because no one had noticed. You're all Brahmins and sannyasis, and you don't notice that these latrines have not been cleaned in however long. Prabhupada said that means you're okay with it. It means you're in the mode of ignorance. Otherwise, how could you not notice? You're chanting Hare Krishna, you're Brahmins, you're this, that, and you don't notice that this place is totally filthy. So a person who's awake can see the signs that someone, it's like a flag practically. It's mentioned in the fourth canto that the modes of nature that a person has acquired are like flags on a chariot. They used to have a chariot and you could see this is Arjuna because he's got Hanuman on his flag. You can see this is Duryodhana, I think he had a snake or whatever. And this is Krishna, he's got Garuda. So you could see from the flag, you'd know who it was. Just like ships in modern times, they'll have the flag of the country. Even airplanes, I think they sometimes do. So people wear their modes of nature like flags. You can see it if you know how to understand interpret the flags. Like what are they called? Signal flags. You can see this person's in the mode of ignorance because he's keeping beard and long hair, and the clothes are not clean, and he eats his sandwiches and does this. Person will immediately see mode of ignorance. And a person will see neat and clean, very nice, goodness is apparent. And passion has its signs, intense endeavor for sense gratification. So the Vishnu temples typically have a chakra and a flag on the top, but it shouldn't be a flag on the top and then flag of ignorance in the temple. Everything should be very clean. Even I remember my father had a business, and it was the standard in the business that every morning they'd take a hose and hose down the sidewalk in front of the business because it was so dirty. And in Brahminical homes in the villages, the same thing, they'll clean the outside, put some auspicious cow dung water and Rangoli.
Yes, Maharaj. It is said that chanting Hare Krishna, in the name of Krishna, purifies everything.
Chanting Hare Krishna purifies everything.
Right. So if one is chanting, devotee is chanting, but then he's not clean, right? He goes to the washroom.
They're chanting, but they're not clean.
Right. So how does that affect your consciousness?
Yeah, it does. It's either a sign that they haven't been instructed properly, or that they're negligent. They've been instructed, they've read Nectar of Devotion, and still they commit these seva aparadhas, or they just don't keep the standard. And it will affect our consciousness. You can see. Even, if you clean your house, how do you feel afterwards? It's spring cleaning, and they clean the house from top to bottom. You feel different, right? I mean, even despite all their other things, at least if they clean their house for spring, then they feel like, yes, now it's clean. So it does affect our consciousness. If you're dressed in dirty old clothes and this and that, your consciousness will be affected. So we should chant Hare Krishna for internal cleanliness, but the external cleanliness should be there also.
You give the example of drinking the water and you become the hand become contaminated and so forth. So one might say, well, the saliva is already in the mouth, so does the body naturally, automatically contaminate it?
The whole body is contaminated. The soul has nothing, therefore has nothing to do with this body, because the whole body is contaminated. What to speak of saliva, we don't want to do an inventory of all the stuff that the body has going on. But there are some standards. But you don't say, well, commit suicide because your whole body is contaminated. But there's some standards. After using the toilet, one has to wash the hands, the feet, mouth, because depending on what's going on in the whole body, because the body is contaminated, but now it's really contaminated. And it's contaminated and more contaminated. Everything in the material world is contaminated. And then we say, well, everything in the material world is contaminated. So what's the difference? No, there's a difference. We'll try to keep some standard, and we'll try to keep the highest standard. You know that you can't make the whole world totally materially clean. It's by nature contaminated. It's the place of the three modes of nature. Not as soon as we have this body, we're contaminated. The soul shouldn't have any connection with matter. But since we're connected with matter, at least there should be some standards. That's political life. Mode of goodness. It's a material mode, but at least it's, what is that? Prakashat Kamanamaya. Sukha and that's described. Sukha Sangena Badnati Gyana Sangena Chandra associates with the mode of goodness. It's conducive to what? Happiness, Jnana. Of course, that's materially contaminating also. We become attached to Jnana, attached to cleanliness, attached to the sense of happiness that we get from being in the mode of goodness until we stay in the material world. So cleanliness is next to godliness, but it's not godliness. Godliness is Krishna consciousness. So you may have a very clean everything. If you're not Krishna conscious, then. So Krishna consciousness is the main thing, but along with Krishna consciousness, this should come in a package.
I have one question, Maharaj.
I'm thinking that. No, okay, go ahead. I don't think of it.
I have one question. So, why a practicing devotee with chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra is affected by the mode of ignorance? Why he cannot overcome
Why
it?
is a person practicing devotee who's chanting the Mahamantra affected by the mode of ignorance? Because he's not perfect. He's chanting, but he's not chanting on the highest standard of attention, offenseless chanting. And also because he's in a purifying process, which implies that he's not pure to begin with. So we don't deride devotees for not being completely pure. The example given, you're in the shower, so it's understood you're coming from the dirty condition going to the clean condition. But we shouldn't be like the elephant that takes bath and then sprinkles dust all over its body. Kundra Shochava. That shouldn't be. Yeah, so it's practice, but again, when there's training, then the Prabhupada one time said, "I wish that I could be with all of my devotees and train them personally, but it's not possible." But when there's proper training, then it's seen. Hey, what's that? A C, whatever it might be. Okay. Why is this lying there in that dirty place? You took prasadam, did you clean? No, we didn't clean the place. So many things. The spiritual master and the guide will see. Now, what is this? What are you doing? Just to see that he's awake. In the military, they have like standards, how you keep your weapons, how you do this, how you do that. If you're off the standard, then anyone can see you. Soldiers not to the standard. Everything should be clean, 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 clean. And you need persistence in this world. The world wants to contaminate us. Everything, the surrounding environment is going to be dirty. You clean the floor and then it's dirty within an hour. And that's the world. It's dirty. And we're surrounded by people whose habits are not clean, whose eating is unspeakable, whose ideas of cleanliness are just not there. So it takes persistence, persistent training, and then persistent attention. Things that were clean become dirty, and then they're neglected, and then they're dirty again. You clean them and you see a difference. We have to be on it. We have to be awake. We have to be serious about it. Then things can stay clean as far as possible. We have to have that training, and we have to be on it so that we know this. Yes, this is getting dirty. The deity paraphernalia. When was this shine glass? When was this clean glass? And you'll notice what is that. And a person who's not trained looks okay with me. He doesn't have the discrimination. The person, the mode of goodness, will see it right away. Time has come. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande. Jnana Sangena Chanaka. Ujo Ragatmakam Vidhi Krishna. Sangha Samudbana.
Maharaj, after coming to US, it's like so challenging
Yeah, isn't it?
to find, like, when we go out, when we're traveling around and when we want to go and use the washroom, it's very difficult to wash the feet. Generally when we go out to pass water or wash our feet and then mouth is easy, but to wash the feet, it's like so challenging.
Why is it challenging?
We cannot wash. There's no shower or anything like that. When we go out in
Still,
public,
there's water.
Yeah, I sprinkle it on the tea.
Yeah, as far as possible.
Yeah.
You know, proper place. Yes, there'd be a tap just for that. But all right, still we can take. Prabhupada once sometimes took bath in an airport. You know, just using the.
I heard of it.
So if we're serious, we can clean the teeth. Doesn't take some water in your hand and clean. Possible, but it takes some effort. That things are not set up.
Yeah.
Proper place. Things are set up. They understand what's needed. And in these countries, they have no idea.
Maharaj, about using toilet paper, that people take shower right after.
It's just, and what is the point? Why use it? Water is there. It's a very wasteful industry, by the way. Making paper is exceedingly water intensive, apart from chemicals and the whole business. Millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of natural resources are used and or polluted by the paper industry. Why do we need it? Water. And yeah, we have it, but we'll take baths right after. Yeah.